What is up, everybody? It is your boy Smoke Joe Star back with another Apex video. Today we kind of got some info from another Apex streamer, Mangoes and Trees. Go follow him. I watch some of his videos, like just tips and his coaching sessions that he has with other people. Dude's really good content creator, good at the game, understands a lot. Go follow him, Twitter, YouTube, all that. But he actually got a chance to play season 16 early, and he chronicled some of the changes that the rest of us are gonna see and have to get used to in the upcoming season on his Twitter in a thread. So I was just gonna go over those with you guys, give my opinions, what I like, don't like, what I'm looking forward to, not looking forward to, all that good stuff. So right off the bat, it seems like the meta for next season is gonna be toning down scan. Like if you've been playing at all this season, the scan's been pretty relevant, especially Seer, like his ability to stop reses, stop healing, all of that. But the first nerf that we see is actually going to be Seer. It says there's an increased cooldown on the ultimate, changed how the heartbeat works, the audio's increased, and it doesn't relay the same info as before. I'm kind of curious to see how it doesn't relay the same info, because if you're increasing the audio, the only way you're really going to be able to tell exactly where somebody is if you have a good enough headset. And I don't think Respawn would, single out that much of the player base that doesn't have like Astro A40s or Rig 500s and stuff like that. So I'm kind of curious as to what they would see, because all that's there now is an arrow that kind of like pulsates depending on how close you are to an enemy, how low their health is. So I'm kind of curious as to what kind of visual cues there are. Like I still think Seer's kit as a whole is going to be really good, because like I said, you have a cylindrical scan that goes basically an infinite amount of distance. It stops healing, it stops reses, you're marked for I think it's 4 seconds now. Like you can see what level shields they have. Like his core is still going to be really good. The increased cooldown on the ultimate, we'd have to see, because I'd much rather have a hard number than just saying, hey, it's gonna take longer. But I'm the type of person depending on who I'm playing, I use a lot of ultimate accelerants in a round. So that's not really gonna affect me too much, I don't think, unless it's just like an egregious cooldown, like how Bangalore's ultimate, like up until season 6, was a 4-minute cooldown. Like I don't know, man. Like I get it, I understand the concept behind the nerf, but as long as his core kit's intact, I don't see Seer's pick rate dropping too much. This next one is just pure pain for me because I'm a Bloodhound main, have been since season 1, but the ultimate no longer increases the scan speed and the amount of scans. Instead, there will be a white raven that you will see, and you can interact with it to make it fly in the direction of where the closest fight is. It's more of a tracker now. I hate this, obviously, but even with this being done, I don't think Bloodhound was the legend that needed the hard nerf. If anybody was going to get kneecapped, it probably should have been Seer. But basically the way Bloodhound's ultimate works now is when you pop Beast of the Hunt, you get a scan every 6 seconds. And then if you knock somebody, it increases the duration of the ultimate by 5 seconds, I believe it is. It's either 5 or 10. I want to say 5. 5 makes more sense. But so essentially, like the longer you fight in that ult, the more knocks you get, the longer you can keep the ult up. On the one hand, I get it, because if you're running up against a really good Bloodhound that's third party, and if you're playing at higher ranks where you have to push fights to get points, Bloodhound is pretty fucking demonic to run up against, because like he can get a kill or get a knock, move on to the next knock, move on to the next knock, and then if you just happen to run into somebody else, you could still have 20 seconds on your ultimate, knock somebody from that party, reset yourself to 20. Like it's a loop type deal, but eventually you're gonna run out of it. So unless the Raven just like hard tracks the enemy, like it hovers over them while they're moving and shit, that's a pretty significant nerf. And I think it might have been a wording thing on Mango's part, but he says it hovers near the closest fight. I would think that it would be better suited to hover towards the closest enemy as opposed to just like engagement. And that may be what he meant. I don't know. Like, that's just how he typed it out. But that's pretty significant. I know there were rumors floating around that like the regular scan was only going to mark him for like 1 second now, as opposed to the 4 that it does, or sorry, the 3 that it does now. And I think that's a bit overkill. Like, the scan is already, you know, I think the scan's in a decent spot. Like, it's 25 seconds, 70 meters. Like, it's not insane. It's not like, you know, his scan works like Sears where it stops healing, stops reses, all that other stuff. So I think it's more of an issue of like the right people are complaining about not being able to do what they want to do freely. And it kind of resulted in that, because scan is prevalent. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that it isn't. Scan is OD in season 15, but those are some pretty hefty fucking nerfs for an ability that doesn't like have any control or damage behind it. Like, that's pretty insane in my humble casual opinion. Next up for some changes is Horizon, and her lift ability has had the unpredictable recoil brought back to it. So now you're not just, you know, lasering people while moving side to side, thank God, but it trades it off for going up faster, which, yeah, that's a fair trade. I think, like, I don't think you should go up as slow as you do while also having ridiculous recoil. Like, that's a fair balance change. I actually have no opinion either way about that. I don't play Horizon. Usually for me, when I see a Horizon on a lift, like, I just shoot her anyway. It's the same as Vault. Like, I didn't get the need for the Vault changes, the jetpack. I was like, she's slow as shit, and you can see exactly where she's going and where she's gonna land. Like, why the fuck do we need to nerf that shit? Just beam her ass. But, you know, I get it on the one hand, because like being able to basically, like, if you're, let's just say 70 meters away from somebody and you're running something like a charge rifle or a triple take or a 301, basically like being an unhittable dot but lasering people is pretty unfair. So like, I get it, but I don't think it's necessary. Can't have nerfs without a little bit of buffs, right? And the characters that got buffed, oh, did they need it? I don't know if they're the right ones, not the ones I would have done, but I'm not a game dev, so I don't know. But Mirage, after reviving a teammate, you both go invisible for 3 seconds, but if you shoot, the cloak wears off. When shooting a Mirage decoy, it alerts Mirage and team where you are briefly. Unclear exactly how it relays that info. And then there's a lifeline, we'll get to her next. But that's actually really good, because having Mirage be able during the revive and then immediately go back to being seen is actually nuts. Like, I don't know how they thought that would help his game in the slightest. Because it's like, oh, okay, cool. Well, you pop ult, everybody knows that Mirage is invisible when he's reviving, so nobody's gonna fall for the dummies. And at that point, it's basically just audio cues, and then you get fucked up either way. But now that you have, you know, both you and the teammate have 3 seconds of invis, you know, you can run somewhere, reposition, they can run somewhere, get started on their heels. That's gonna lead to a lot more situations where Mirage may actually be viable. Like a couple of seasons ago, the clones got buffed, so did his ult. His ult got changed entirely. And those two things were really good, but I still feel like, I don't know, man. I don't know what it is with Mirage, but like, I still feel like there's something missing maybe on the info gathering part, because smarter players just aren't going to fall for decoys. Like, you have to get like extremely saucy to get somebody to fall for a decoy in season 15, especially like anything above gold. And most people just aren't going to fall for it. But if they do, you know, I feel like instead of saying, hey, this is where your enemy was when they shot your decoy, it could kind of do something in a similar vein to what Bloodhound Scan currently does, where it'll ping them for like 1 or 2 seconds. and they stay highlighted, and you can just push the fight or get away, know what you need to do. Because right now it's just like, hey, this particular enemy is like 57 meters away. They probably aren't now because they moved when they shot you, but they were. And that's just, I guess I can get some info out of that, but for the most part, I feel like there could be a little bit more. Just, something. I don't know. We'll figure it out. And as for Lifeline, I'm pretty sure we're not lucky enough to get a complete rework or an ultimate change, but it says that the slow has been reduced when reviving teammates. Pulling off risky revives allows Lifeline to react better now. Care package comes down faster. Wraith portal goes twice as far, which is basically back to how it was originally. Pathline, zip lines go very far, can make macro rotations from one POI to another. Speed on zipline is increased 4 to 5 times for everyone using it. That's nuts. Pathfinder's going to be mad aggressive, but Lifeline is the only one I wanted to talk about. I have been advocating for Lifeline to go back to the way she was pre-season 5 since season 5. Like, she doesn't have the fast revive anymore. That's Gibby. She doesn't have the shield on Doc Drone when rezzing an enemy anymore. That's also Gibby. So basically, like, as the healer, like the sole healer of the game, she is the worst one. And it's sad because being able to revive faster just seems like it's just part of the healer kit. I mean, that's what you do. But when they nerfed her and it basically takes the same amount of time as everybody else, it's like, okay, well, why would I play you when, I can just do somebody or play somebody that has more utility? And then they tried to rectify the slow res by saying, okay, well, it's slow, but you have Doc Shield. And then people complained about Doc Shield being OD. And then 8 seasons later, we get Newcastle, who basically does what Lifeline used to do, but with much more mobility, and you use your knockdown. The Doc Drone was indestructible, but you couldn't move while you were getting rezzed, and it only covered the front part of the body. So if you had a thermite or like any type of throwable really, or high ground, you could shoot over the shield. It wasn't like their entire body was encompassed in a force field that you couldn't get around. But I think that if any character is gonna return to the way they were like 10 seasons ago, it should be Lifeline. I've always said she needs like a better ult anyway, because the care package, the game gives us care packages. Like, why is that her ult? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it just doesn't make sense for the healer, to me, to be able to bring down items that you can find in game, or items that are worse than what you find in the care packages. So I'm just, I think that she should have something in a similar vein to Watson, where instead of like healing your shields, it heals everybody's health. Think Biotic Field from Overwatch, the Soldier 76's heal. Like, you can place something down besides, like outside of Doc Drone. I'm saying in an ultimate sense, like it just constantly heals you. And maybe it stays for like 2-3 minutes. I don't know, just something other than the care package. And just bring her back, make her the healer, man. Like, she's the healer in this game, and everybody else heals better than she does, because her regular res, like when Doc is out, is the same as everybody else's. When she had to do it manually, it used to be faster. It's 25% faster res. The shield that used to be on Doc Drone when you had him out for the res, bring that shit back. She also had another passive where it was 25% faster healing, like on syringes and shit and cells. I don't know why they ever removed it, because that was dope. It just added a little bit more personality to her as the healer of the game. And I just it's like Apex does this thing where like they'll remove a mechanic or some type of passive that somebody has and then bring it back as a whole nother character like a couple of seasons down the road. Because when they made the grenade changes, you could only have 1 grenade per slot. 2 seasons later, we got Fuse, and he can carry 2 per slot again, which was what everybody could do at the beginning of the game. And then, Lifeline doesn't get a shield when she revives, but hey, here's Newcastle, who uses his knockdown shield and can move actively while reviving an enemy. Okay. I just sincerely think that Lifeline is a character that needs like a full-blown rework at this point, because like as a healer, outside of like throwing out your health drone for everybody to use, which also got nerfed because now it has a hard limit on how much it heals, but outside of throwing that out, she doesn't heal. Like, she's not a healer. and it sucks because she used to be like quite literally the blueprint. Like, you healed yourself faster, you res people faster, you threw out Doc Drone. Like, she was fucking goated, man. She really was. And there's nothing in her kit that's like overpowered. There never was. But we can only hope. We can only hope like later in the season or like in season 17, we get the Lifeline that we deserve. But there was a lot more changes. Like I said, go follow Mangoes and Trees on Twitter. Like, there were some weapon changes that he went over. But I really just wanted to talk about the couple of nerfs and buffs that he saw, because everybody's getting something, but those were the ones that he got to experience firsthand. So yeah, go support him. He's on YouTube as well. Really good content creator, really cool guy. But yeah, man, like if y'all agree, disagree, let me know in the comments. Hit that sub button. We'll be back. I will be back with the gang this Friday for another Sonic discussion, so look forward to that. I know y'all love those, but we will see you then. Peace.